Worst parts of great games. Demon Souls. This was the original Souls game that would spawn the entire genre. And that being the case, this game oftentimes feels like a prototype or beta version of the Souls games that would come later. And that being said, there are several parts of this game that could be said to be the worst part, though some issues would be fixed with the PlayStation 5 version, which is the easier version to get your hands on these days. In fact, whole mechanics that were dysfunctional now work seemingly perfectly, like world tendency that causes different events to happen in the various worlds of Demon Souls. In the PlayStation 3 version of Demon Souls, world tendency would often reset for no apparent reason, making it very frustrating to gain access to certain events. But the PlayStation 5 version has made it so that doesn't happen, meaning world tendency will get a pass. A lot of new players to Demon Souls take great issue with the fact that when you're in ghost form, that you only have half of your total health. And while that does seem harsh, especially at first, the game is built around this mechanic, so you learn to deal with it. And if it's that big of an issue for you, there's a ring you can wear to get back some of it. Or you could just invest most of your stat points into vitality. Again, half-healthing you is going to get a pass, just like world tendency. Another one new players often complain about is how upgrade materials are sort of random, and it is quite possible to never get that pure piece of upgrade material you need for the last upgrade of all the various paths. But truthfully, the upgrades in Demon Souls aren't quite as drastic as they would be in later games. Realistically, increasing your stats is far more important to dealing damage than making your weapon slightly shinier. No, the worst part of Demon Souls is in fact the very first poison area that was ever in a Souls title. And the poison is not the reason I say this. Just bring a few of the antidote items with you. It is more the movement throughout all of the zone, as the first area of it is very vertical, and you have to descend. It is very easy to fall off and die. And because it's designed to look very ramshackle, it can be very difficult to gauge where is safe to jump down onto and where is not. And once you finally get to the bottom, you're in the swamp proper. Its name is quite apt. Swamp of Sorrow. And as I said earlier, the swamp continually poisons you, which you can handle with items, and your movement speed is slowed while walking through the swamp, which is far more annoying than the poison. But the truly worst part of this situation is that your character cannot roll. So when you're wading through the swamp, dodging is not an option. And dodging is very important when playing a Souls game. In the original PlayStation 3 version, there was no counter for this problem. In the PlayStation 5 version, however, there is a ring that you can get to remove these problems with moving in the swamp, but attaining that can be quite difficult, so it doesn't really alleviate the problem all that much. The ring in question is in one of the other worlds, and only appears after you get that other world to pure black world tendency. And that requires you dying in body form a lot. So truly, the Swamp of Sorrows is the worst part of Demon Souls.